Hi friends, today we will discuss about JavaScript syllabus. In the JavaScript, we have six chapters. In chapter 1, we have introduction to JavaScript, and chapter 2, control flow and functions, and chapter 3, we have working with the arrays and objects, and chapter 4, document object model. This document object model DOM is very important in the real time, and we have to use document dot get element by id. Like that, we have the document elements we have to use in the real time. And chapter 5, advanced JavaScript concepts. And finally, chapter 6 is final project and the review. This is the um, syllabus of JavaScript. Now, moving to chapter 1. See, in chapter 1, we have introduction to JavaScript. In the JavaScript, we have the history and evaluation and development environment, setting up of development environment. Actually, we have VS Code. In the VS Code, we can write the code, and we can see the output in the browser. For development environment, we need to download VS Code, and we need to install VS Code. In later classes, I will explain how to download and how to install VS Code. And after that, we have hello world hello world program, a small program in JavaScript. And after that, we have variables and data types. In variables and data types, this is very important. We know that uh, variables are var, let, and constant. Why we are using the variables? Variables are used to store the data. So you know all these variables, and in later classes we will discuss in detail with variables. Actually, this is the first concept in the JavaScript. We need to learn variables, var and let and constant. And in interviews, it is very important. What is the difference between the var, let, and constant? Like that. And after data types, we have strings, numbers, and booleans. In booleans, we have only true or false conditions, and in numbers, we know numbers 1 2 3 4. And strings, in the strings we are giving the characters, and dynamic typing. And after, we have operators and expressions. In operators, we have arithmetic operator. Arithmetic operator is nothing but addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And after that, comparison operators, we have greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. Like that, we have the operators. And logical operators. Logical operators are and are not. We will see in the further classes how to use these logical operators, arithmetic operators, and comparison operators, and operator procedure, and expressions and statements. Okay, this is overall chapter 1. Mainly in chapter 1, we have the development environment. For that, we need to install VS Code, and after that, we have a small program, hello world, how to write hello world program in the JavaScript. And after that, we have variables. In the variables, mainly we have var, let, constant, keywords. And what is the main what are the variables? Variables are used to store the data. And strings, data types. And data types, we have strings, numbers, booleans. In boolean, we have true and false conditions. Numbers, we know the numbers 1 2 3 4. and operators. In the operators and expressions, we have arithmetic operator. Arithmetic operator nothing but addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. In comparison operators, we have greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, like that. In logical operators, we have and, or, not operators, like that. These are the topics of chapter 1. Next, move to chapter 2. In the chapter 2, we have control flows and functions. In the control statements, we have if clause, else if clause, else statements. If in the if condition, we have uh, uh, two conditions. One is the if the condition is true, then we have given one statement, and if the condition is false, then we have given another statement. uh, like that, we have if clause, else if, and else statements, and we have switch statement, like that. And after, loops, all these loops: for loop, for loop, while, do while loops, and after, break and continuous statements, and iterating through arrays and objects. And after that, functions are very very important in JavaScript. What is a function is nothing but a piece of code to do a particular task. In the functions, we will see how to declare a function, and expressions, and parameters, and return values, scope and closures. Okay, these are the main topics in the chapter 2. Chapter 2, we have control flows and functions. In the control flows, conditional statements, we have if clause, else if clause, else statements, and switch statements. In the loops, we have for loop, while, do while loops, and in functions, we have function declaration and expressions, and parameters, and return values, and scope and closures. This is the chapter 2. And next, chapter 3, we have working with the arrays and objects. These are arrays and objects are very very important in the JavaScript. And the arrays, how to creating and manipulating the arrays. And arrays, we have the methods: push method, pop method, shift, and unshift method. And extra, we have the methods in the array methods, and iterating through arrays. And in later classes in future, we will see these arrays, how to declare an array, how array methods, push and pop, shift and unshift. These methods we will discuss in the future. And objects are the very very important. Actually, in real time, we are creating the objects, and we are working with the objects. We are creating and working with the objects, and object properties and methods. And after, object orient programming concepts, OOPS concept. Generally, we say that OOPS concept, object orient programming concepts. And after, we have JSON. JSON is JavaScript object notation, and introduction to JSON, parsing and stringifying, and working with the JSON data. These RS objects, JSONs, are the very important topics in the chapter 3. And next, chapter 4, we have document object model and events. Introduction to DOM, document object model, the structure and hierarchy, accessing and manipulating the DOM elements, and DOM manipulation and methods. Actually, in the DOM, we have document dot get element by ID, document dot get element by the title. Like that, we have the elements. In future, we will discuss in detail with this DOM concept. And after the events, generally we can call it as event handlers. In the event handlers, we have different types of event types. Click, generally we can write on click, and submit, and key press, etc. These are the event handlers and event propagation and delegations. Actually, in the real time, whenever we are working in the project, we have to create the forms. In the forms, it may be a new form or edit form. For that, we have to uh, write a button. And the button on click is one of the event handler for that, and submit, it is one of the event handler. These are the very very important event handlers. In future we will discuss this event handlers. And finally, we have Ajax and Fetch API. In the real time, generally we are working with the database. We have to get the data. We have to update the data. For that case, we are using Ajax and API. Introduction to asynchronous programming and making HTTP request with fetch. We know that HTTP request, it means get, post, put, and delete methods, and handling and response and errors. Um, and in the future we will discuss all these things. Fetch API is very important to do the code operations. You know very well, CURD, creating, updating, and read and deleting data. In the code operations we are using the APIs. In the JavaScript we are using Fetch API and Ajax. We will discuss in the later classes. And next chapter, advanced concepts in the JavaScript. In JavaScript we have some advanced concepts, uh, let and constant declaration, array functions, arrow functions, and template, literals, and promises. In promises, introduction to promises, chaining and handling errors, asynchronous functions, await functions, and syntax. How the syntax we will see in the future classes. And after that, modules and bundles, introduction to ES6 modules using the module syntax, and introduction to bundles, for example Webpack. These are the main topics in the lesson 5. Lesson 5 mainly we will discuss about the let, constant, keywords, and arrow functions, and templates, and asynchronous function, and await functions. Okay. Last, this is the final. And after completion of the total syllabus, we will create one project, and we will discuss the project, and brainstorming, and project planning, how to plan the project. And after that, project work and presentations, and after implementation of the final project, and troubleshoot and debugging, how to debug the code. We will discuss all these things. And final, the project final project presentation and feedback. Now all these things we will discuss in future. This is the overall syllabus of the JavaScript. Finally I will recap all the concepts. The JavaScript, first one is introduction to JavaScript, and the second one is the control flow and functions, and third one arrays and objects, and fourth one is the DOM, document object model. And finally some advanced JavaScript concepts. And after, in chapter 6 we will discuss on project, and we will debug the code. All these things we will discuss in future. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you so much. Bye.